these are my 2025 top QBs that I think will be the most successful down the road. Okay. So I'm going to stir some shit up here, man. Okay. At number, you know what? Let me start off with number 5. Okay. Number 5, I'm going to go with Will Howard, Ohio State University.
Oh,
6'4, 235, 4,000 yards, 73% completion rating, 35 TDs, 10 interceptions. To me personally, this whole thing with Matt Stafford to the Raiders, I'm getting a ton of Raider fans telling me why would they do this? Why would they do this?
why not?
I bring in Matt Stafford for 2 years, and I don't think it's a great fit with Chip Kelly's offense. Don't get me wrong, but you bring him in for 2 years, and you draft Will Howard. You draft Will Howard in the 3rd round. I love his size. I love his athletic ability. I think he's one of those kids that Tom Brady will love. I think he will be the first in, the last out. He will study. He's a student of the game. He's I just think he's solid. I think in most prognostication guys, they have him 8 or 10. I love me some Will Howard. If you take away, Rafa, that Michigan game, and you can never judge anyone by their worst moment. That was probably his worst moment, right? That Michigan game. I think he, after that game, he soared and took that team to a national championship. Poke holes in my shit. Will Howard, when it's said and done, is going to be an NFL quarterback and a very good NFL quarterback. What's your thoughts?
I have him at number 5 as well.
Oh.
Although my only thing with him is that his roster was so stacked and talented. Is it a byproduct of being in a place just so good that he could have done whatever he wanted and not really made a mistake? Or when he gets to the NFL, will he have to produce with not having the best of the best around him?
I think you were wrong on, yes, his roster was phenomenal. You still, as good as your roster is, you still need to make the decisions. You still need to make the throws. You still need to audible, blah, 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 etc. I agree with you. I like Will Howard, and I'm trying to figure out kind of a pro comp for Will Howard as far, because that's what I want to do actually with this list, is kind of maybe pro comp all of the guys. So I can't think of one, but I'll tell you what. In 5 years from now, Will Howard will be a better NFL quarterback than Bo Nix.
Woo!
Wow.
That's my take on Will Howard right there. That's just my opinion.
I like that take.
Wow, you guys are not going to believe who Will Howard's pro comp is.
Who is it?
It's Mason Rudolph.
Oh, that's fucking horrible.
Wow.
So career backup, formidable for a game here and there.
One's one. I mean,
and good for a helmet to the head.
And good for a helmet to the head. Hopefully. I could see Will Howard being better than Bo Nix in the next 5 years. I really can.
He's bigger than Bo Nix. He's bigger than Mason Rudolph, and he's more athletic than Mason Rudolph, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like him. I like him.
Okay, so let's go to my number 4 quarterback, Kyle McCord from Syracuse. Okay, McCord, another big kid, was a 5-star prospect. Now, out of these 5, he has the most yards out of any of my 5. Almost 5,000 yards, 34 TDs, 12 picks at a 66 completion rate. Okay. Just because, and head to head, he did beat Cam Ward. Kyle McCord, just because he went to Syracuse, I believe he was at Ohio State first or Alabama. He was a big recruit. He's a 5-star recruit. Kyle McCord has proven that he could slang the rock, man. And I think he's another guy that fits the profile of a guy that's going to be first in, first out, a student of the game. Obviously can throw the ball. Didn't have a ton of talent surrounding him, but still stood out. And I think Kyle McCord will be a dude in the NFL. Obviously this is not last year's NFL QB draft class. That was something special, but Kyle McCord, people are sleeping on him, man, and this is a dude that will impress in the next coming days. He will impress and he will shoot up the boards. I promise you, at the combine, because he will give the best interviews. He will, as far as scheme wise, he'll get on the whiteboard. He's gonna know his X's and O's, and he has fucking arm talent. So Kyle McCord, my number 4 prospect coming out of the NFL, and I believe he will be a starter in 2 to 3 years and be a successful playoff quarterback in the NFL.
Before we get to that, Michael Brown is completely displeased with your comment. He said, "Oh, please, Howard is not Nix."
No, he's not. He's Will Howard. He'll be better than Bo Nix. Bo Nix next year will not win 7 games. I'm sorry.
But
Anyway,
I also
who do
had
you got at number 4?
I also had Kyle McCoy at number 4. I had him for more so for the reason, actually looking at Bo Nix, like you had so much time in college to get your game down really to a T and perfect at the little things, that I think if he gets in the right system in the NFL, it'll be able to translate over and not take too long.
Kyle McCord is Carson Wentz.
NFL MVP candidate.
MVP candidate?
Yeah, and then died.
Oh, he blew out his ACL.
And then he had the Colts. So he needed to win 1 game of his final handful of games to make the playoffs with a very, very good roster in Indianapolis, and couldn't do that. So Kyle McCord, Carson Wentz, that's my pro comp.
You know what? That's actually it's not a bad pro comp, actually. I mean, Carson Wentz at one point was on a trajectory like this, right? And
steep incline.
And does he not have a Super Bowl ring?
Yes.
Oh no. He was with the Chiefs last year. That's right.
No, he has one as a backup.
Oh, as a backup to Foles, right?
Yeah. To BD Nick.
Okay, here we go. This is where I'm going to start pissing people off. At number 3,
I know where it's coming.
I have Cam Ward. 6'2", 233 pounds, 67 completion rate, 4,300 yards, 39 TDs, 7 picks. Those 7 picks, Rafa, to me are, I just talked about Will Howard, who had 10, Kyle McCord, who had 12. But those 7, Rafa, is what I have a problem with. I think Cam Ward is so uber talented that he is going to have a problem next year or wherever he goes doing what he did in college. I think he probably has the best arm talent out of everyone in this thing, but you as a quarterback, you can't always rely on arm talent. You have to have a mental game. You have to be able on 3rd and 8 to sit back and throw that shit into the 6th row. And until I see Cam Ward do that and not throw across his body, which 7 picks, but I could envision all 7 picks, and they were just horrible and god awful. That's why I have him at 3. I hope he goes to a team with a quarterback coach and a head coach that is defensive and is going to groom him, because I think he's the most talented of all the quarterbacks. But if I had to put my money on it, he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle. What do you guys think about my number 3?
Eddie Money, who do you have?
At number 3, I have Shedeur Sanders. I had Cam Ward up higher on my board. Actually, I'll get into that when we get there. But I put Shedeur Sanders at the bottom of the board because I feel like the 2 people above him just had better potential to have success in the NFL. That was mainly the reason, though. Not that Shedeur is going to be bad or anything.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my pro comp on Cam Ward. Donovan McNabb. Is my pro comp. Like good enough, not good enough to win a Super Bowl, good enough to lead a team, not elite enough, but right there in the mix of the second tier kind of guys in the league in 5 years. Like right below that, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Mahomes,
Tier 2 quarterbacks.
Tier 2, whoever's tier 2. Not Lamar, not those guys, but I think something like a Donovan McNabb type player where he's going to be good enough and he might be a Pro Bowler, not next year obviously, like Eddie said, this is a 5-year deal. I can see Cam Ward being something like a Donovan McNabb. That's what I think about Cam Ward.
My only issue is that Donovan McNabb had Andy Reid. You know, if Cam Ward,
we don't know who he's going to have yet. We don't know who he's going to have, and you know, there's a lot of bright minds in the NFL. So we're just early pro comps, and I'm going to go Donovan. I'm going to go McNabb, Cam Ward as my pro comp.
Michael Brown said, "Carr threw it away on 3rd and 8 all the time. Which one do you want? Make up your mind."
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Zingers.
You know what? I had a problem.
He's willing to discuss this on Marco's about the Will Howard and Bo Nix things.
Oh yeah,
we will definitely do that, Michael Brown.
That is a bet. Yeah. Michael Brown. Luckily, Michael Brown's tuned in and watching the fucking So yeah, that's my issue with Cam Ward is I don't want to put him in the worst category of Jamarcus Russell. I just don't know the young man. I know he's uber talented, but will he put in that work to be an NFL quarterback? Because right now, he was in the ACC, Rafa. I know he barely beat Virginia Tech. He lost to Syracuse. And it was like a lot of backyard football. His ball placement, incredible. He's great in the pocket. Not a runner, by the way. Not a runner by any.
No, not a runner.
So that's my knock on Cam. But where do you think he's gonna go, Rafa? There's rumors that Raiders are trying to get him at one. There's so many freaking rumors out right now. It's ridiculous. Where do you see Cam?
I think he goes in the top 5. I think he's in the top 5. I think is Tennessee taking a quarterback? Are they trading? Who knows? Is Cleveland going to take him? I could see Cleveland taking him. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
So
I have Cam Ward going in the top 2.
I'll say top 3. Now this is where I'm really going to piss people off. Number 2, I have Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur 6'2", 215. Now Shedeur out of this top 5 has the best completion percentage, 74%. 37 TDs. Okay, 10 INTs, 4,000 yards. And I'm not a huge fan of his quarterback play, but I do feel what Shedeur has that no one else has is a mentor and a dude in his ear who's going to be like, I feel like Shedeur will do the things it needs to take to be a good NFL quarterback. Obviously he's grown up with the biggest spotlight. He has, prime time. Of anyone, you would think Shedeur would be the most flashy, this guy and that guy. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was last week. Shedeur Sanders walks through a basketball court and what's her name? The LSU basketball star. Angel Reese was like, oh, he's going to talk. Her face of disappointment when he didn't acknowledge her. The fact that he brushed off Cam Newton. I feel like Shedeur might have the best head of all these quarterbacks. That he might. He might.
Full Diddy in this bitch.
Full Diddy in this bitch.
Yeah, we never go no Diddy. We go full Diddy here.
Yeah. I just think Shedeur, because of his mentorship from his father, I think Shedeur understands it's not about flash. He has badass watches. He has drip as he should. He has the fucking money to do it. But I feel like Shedeur might be the most grounded of all these quarterbacks, and he is going to do what it takes to be a great quarterback in the NFL. That's why I have him at number 2. Thoughts?
Eddie Money,
Question.
do you have Cam Ward at number 2?
I have Jackson Dart at number 2.
Okay, we'll cover Jackson next because I think that's Eddie's number 1 for sure.
Obviously.
Yeah, so we'll do Shedeur. Dude, I'm trying to what I don't like about Shedeur, watching him play the last 3 years and more so this year, and people could say his offensive line sucked. Fine. He takes too many sacks. There were too many plays where he could have escaped the pocket and been able to run the ball, and he doesn't run the ball enough. And I don't understand why he doesn't. Maybe because he doesn't want people to think he can run the ball, or he doesn't want to be looked at as another running quarterback. That's what I don't like about Shedeur. That's probably the only thing that I don't like about Shedeur is that he doesn't run when he should, and he takes sacks when he shouldn't. And obviously that will improve. He's going to improve on that far and away, and it'll all depend on the coaching staff, how they go at him, right? And I think you should just go at him. It's Deion's son, and he's mentored by Brady or whatever, but you got to go right at him and let him know, hey, bud, you have these lanes where you can get out there and run for 5 or 6, get out of bounds. There's balls you can throw away. Jay doesn't throw away any balls. But you can get rid of, you can get some throws, and take the loss. Don't take the loss of yards. Taking sacks, the sacks that he took near the sideline, stuff like that. Like, you were so close, throw it away. You're stepping out of bounds for losses, and that to me is a big mental part of the game. So I'm trying to figure out kind of a comp for Shedeur, but the other guys, I'm kind of thinking they run a little bit more than he does. So I'm not really sure on a comp for Shedeur. So do you have somebody in mind, Eddie?
Well, first of all, I agree with you 5,000%. 5,000%. That is his one weakness. And we've said this for 2 years about Shedeur. If he could implement Patty Mahomes' escapability and just knowledge to, like, hey, I'm going to go run and get 6 yards, he will be 74% completion rating, Rafa.
He's phenomenal.
I know, but we both agree 100% his Achilles heel is that he wants to prove that he's a pocket quarterback. When you're completing 74% of your passes and throwing 4,000, you threw for 4,000 yards and you threw for 37 touchdown passes, you don't need to prove anybody else shit. And he's probably not going to see this because we're a couple of nobodies here in a fucking some offices. His brother has seen us,
one of his sons.
Yeah. So I mean, he doesn't need to show us shit. But in reality, when you watch him play, that to me is his only fault that I saw. And I know the line was bad.
Yeah.
I know the line was bad, but that was his only fault. And I watched him play every week. There were those plays that he could have easily thrown the ball away or taken off. And I know he wants to, throw the ball and all that. And he's great doing it. But I think, listen, if he adds that, aspect of being able to run the ball a little bit, I can see his ceiling being a prime Russell Wilson type player. Wow. But I need him to be able to run the ball a little bit. I'm not asking you to run it like Lamar or Josh Allen, but Shedeur, you got to give me a little bit of Patrick Mahomes, maybe a little bit of Justin Herbert, a little bit of that. That's what I would like to see. I want Shedeur to be prime Russell Wilson. I don't want Shedeur to get a $250 million contract and end up like Trevor Lawrence.
We are on the same page with that shit, Rafa. We are on the same page. We see the same thing.
CBS's pro comp of Shedeur Sanders was Geno Smith.
Oh, that's awful.
Ouch.
That's awful. And people can say whatever the fuck they want. And Geno was awful with the Jets. And yeah, it was the Jets, and Sam Darnold was awful with the Jets and all that. And he did some things with Seattle, but not a quarterback that's going to get you to a title game, whether it's an NFC title game, an AFC title game. I don't think he's going to get you to that. So I think Geno Smith is a terrible comp for Shador.
We got the tricksters in the house. What does Trickster have to say about
Rich
this?
Sled, here's my wrench. Dion is gonna bust a Laker move. Have to take both Sanders. If not, no deal. Shador has to be number one. Take it or leave it. And then Michael Brown says Shador Sanders isn't going to lead anyone anywhere either.
Wow. The hate.
Wow. The hate from
hate.
Michael
Leading his
Brown.
brothers to a draft pick, okay?
Yeah, his brother will get drafted.
Yes, he will.
And he's not very
So-
good, by the way.
And then Eddie's number one.
My number one is Jackson Dart, man. And first of all, he played in the toughest conference of all these quarterbacks
Thank you,
in
Eddie.
the SEC. And that's just a fact. You know, Will Howard played in the Big Ten. Still not last year was not the toughest conference. Jackson Dart, 29 touchdowns, 6 INTs, which if you know and you follow Jackson Dart, he had 3 of the worst INTs at the worst time possible, cost him a playoff fucking spot against Florida. Okay, so that means the motherfucker had 3 interceptions. Okay, the ratio is crazy. 69% completion rating in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
And if you see everything that he shined at the Senior Bowl, people were raving. This guy is going to go to the combine. He is going to throw every pass. Going to be an incredible leader. Jackson Dart, to me, in 5 years, and this is excluding if Rafa and I talked about if Shador doesn't implement this, running, Jackson Dart is athletically probably the best all-around quarterback. And I think, and I said it before on Cut, that Jackson Dart will be picked, and I said this wrong the last time, 12th or higher. And I promise you, he is going to shine at this combine. And I think when it's all said and done, Jackson Dart, and I'm curious, haven't done comps yet, Rafa, but I'm curious to hear your comp of Jackson Dart.
People are gonna hate me for this.
Oh god.
People are gonna hate me for this. They're gonna be like, this guy's a fat fucking idiot. And just so you know, I was fatter than this.
You look great,
possible.
Rafa. You look fucking
But
great.
likewise. But my comp for Jackson Dart is Andrew Luck.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Holy
say
shit.
I'm gonna
wow.
say Andrew Luck. I'm gonna say Andrew Luck. That's my comp for Jackson Dart. I think he was phenomenal, and Eddie was spot on. They played in a conference with arguably the most talent in college football.
Not even close.
So and I really like Jackson Dart. I think he could be Andrew Luck type quarterback.
Wow. I was expecting like something. I don't know. Wow. Damn.
I like it because the kid loves football. Kids from Utah went to USC, and when he got to Ole Miss, he is an Ole Miss quarterback. He embraced the culture. He led the team. They're talking about Jackson Dart and his leadership, even at the Senior Bowl. Like, he has that presence, right? And that's what you want as a quarterback. For Tom Brady to walk in there, it's about presence, about confidence. AR-15, tapping, still, that shit's insane. That's something that you're never going to get from any other quarterback. But I believe that Jackson Dart, not the best arm talent, but top 3. Not the most athletic, but top 3 athletically, I believe. I think he's top 3 with Milroe and Shador, Cam Ward. I think he's still top 3 athletically. He gets it. He reminds me a lot of the UNC quarterback from last year. He takes off when he needs to. Drake May. He reminds me a lot of Drake May. And that's why I believe when all said and done, Jackson Dart will be like, and if you can get him, in the top 20, I'm telling you, man, he's gonna be a star.
Watch out with the Jets
Wow.
taking Jackson Dart.